Welcome to today's episode of Navigating Womanhood. And today we'll be talking about the woman and her money. Once again, my name is Nkechi Okoye and I have with me a very special guest. I would not be introducing her. I would allow her to introduce herself and share her story on personal finance. You're welcome, ma. So please introduce yourself and give us a brief introduction of how you became invested in personal finance.
Okay, good day everyone. My name is Folake Kunubi and I call myself a third generation personal finance enthusiast. And my journey with personal finance started way before I was born, and it started with my grandfather, who was a civil servant. He'd never got a degree. He stopped at secondary school, and he saw it as a goal for himself that all his 7 children, he had 7 of them, needed to be educated because he saw education as a game changer and a life changer and what would get people to achieve their goals, achieve their dreams. So that was his vision for himself and his family, and he threw everything into it. His wife was a homemaker who did some little stuff by the side, but she didn't bring in regular income. So he had his 7 children. You know how it is now, we're Africans. He had siblings that lived with him, this and that. And he made sure everyone went through school. To do that, it meant he needed to learn how to do a lot with the little income he had coming in. So he started it. And the principles he used, he taught to my mom. My mom is his first. And so my mom also, civil servant, my dad was a businessman, imbibed those principles, and we lived those principles, and so she passed it on to me. I mean, that's what we grew up knowing anyway. That's the only way we knew how to do and be with money. And then as I grew up and I started to work, I found my friends would come to me for advice, tips. I'll just beat foolishness out of some people. I said, how can you be spending? Like, this is foolish. What? How can you? And then I found at work, at small events, aside from one-to-one advice, coaching, mentoring, I was asked to give some talks at, women's or girls or general office, how to spend your money well. And so it became a personal thing for me that I don't like foolishness with money. And I have been imbibed, they'll say Abinibi was imbibed in me how to spend money and spend it well. And so today I like to do that, and it's something I do. I have some group coaching, I reach out to people. So that is my journey with personal finance.
Thank you very much. You said something very vital when you spoke about education. Mm-hmm. We'll be coming back to education with regards to finance. Mm-hmm. But let me put a bit of context to it. So I work in the finance space, right? And if there's anything that I've noticed is that men are actually more interested in growing their finance than women. And they are more educated. A man has 1 million, and it's not to diss women or to say anything, but anybody working in the finance space will tell you the numbers are there, the statistics is there. A man has 1 million naira and he automatically knows what to do to grow it to 2 million, where to put the money. A woman is thinking of ajo.
And that's it.
Yes, and that's it. Or, yes, so we are trying. We buy gold, we keep gold, but that's just the maximum. But knowing what money is, educating ourselves about money is actually very important. Remember, there's a popular saying, you train a woman and you train a nation.
That's true.
So please, can you tell us, what is money? Okay. What is money exactly? And how do I know money to put aside for something else and money to spend?
Okay, so first of all, money is just a medium of exchange. Money of its own is nothing. If you put money down here, it can't do you anything. It's what the money can get for you that is actually the value. Now, a lot of women or a lot of people don't know. So the financial principles are basic and they've not changed from generations past. You earn, you save, you invest, you protect, you repeat. It's a cycle.
Exactly.
There's no
save, invest, protect,
repeat.
Okay. Earn, E, save, S, I, invest, P, protect. R, repeat.
It's just a cycle. It hasn't changed since the days of Julius Caesar, Aristotle. It's the ways, so how you invest is different, how you earn is different, but the principles are the same. Remain the same. Now,
how do we earn?
How do you earn? You earn by various means, by your 9 to 5, if you're a 9 to 5er, you earn by your business, if you're a business person, you earn by side hustles, as they do now. But what I tell people is you first have to protect your primary hustle, and I don't really like the word hustle, but protect your primary means of income. You find people that are jumping around because they say multiple streams of income, and your primary principal one, you're not being excellent at it. If you're not being excellent, if I can't trust you with a little, I'm not going to trust you with a lot. If you can't do someone else's work well,
it will even show in your personal work. Yeah,
you can't do your own work well. There's no rocket science about it. So first of all, the primary thing, whatever your hands find it to do it well. That's what my grandfather used to say. My grandfather used to say, I'll say it in Yoruba and then I'll translate. He'll say, I
Can I try and interpret?
Yes, go ahead.
Even if it is sweeping a room that you're doing, sweep it so well that if someone walks in, they would ask, who swept this room?
Exactly.
My Yoruba is improving.
Excellence in whatever it is. So let's start with that.
So if someone might say, I'm at a phase where I'm a stay-at-home mom, I'm not earning. Is there anything I can do in this phase of my life where I'm training children, I'm giving birth, my kids are still babies, and I've agreed with my husband, one person should stay home. What can I do in this phase to earn something? Or should I just wait until the next phase?
I think in every phase you are in, you can do something.
Opportunities abide.
And in this virtual space now, in this online
anything
space,
is possible.
There's so much that is possible. There's so much people have done. There's virtual assistant, there's online this, there's online that. There's so many things you can do. But at least at the basic, at the minimum, you can be teaching yourself.
Perfect.
You can be teaching yourself.
That's a form of earning.
Yes, because
the
knowledge is the only thing you can carry with you is transferable skills, knowledge. You can take the knowledge from wherever it is, so you can build yourself. You can teach your kids how to spend money. I said I'm third generation. I learned it by watching. Even the allowance your husband or whatever your husband has set aside
for the month,
you can do more with it. How to make it go further. You know, if you read, I know we all talk about the Proverbs 31 woman. It talks about how husband trusting in her. It talks about her going to bring ships from afar. The Proverbs 31 woman is a financial guru.
I'm telling you.
If you go and read it, she is a it's not a scripture that encourages us to just
sit at home.
She's a financial guru. And guess who was even talking about it? It was King Lemuel's mother. It was the words where she said, listen to my son. The whole of Proverbs
was a woman telling a man about another woman. So the ideal woman.
Yeah. So there's so much we can do and is expected. Open your eyes, go digital, go online. So when I left corporate, I first did a small business, which I've stopped doing. Even in that, I learned, and that business, it's a personal skincare business. I learned it from my grandmom, or the seeds came from my grandmom. It was, you know how it is now when you're young, they ask us to come and use Oria, one or that.
Yeah.
Turn your nose like, and now it's become something everybody's, shea butter and all that. And it's from that I started. So I did it to some success while I did it. So I did shea butter, I did shea butter cream, I did coconut oils, body washes, body soap, and it was from home.
Wow.
I didn't have I learned how to do it. I remember what my grandmother used to do, and I started to research, and I did it is called Orilewa, because now I still do it on demand. So from home, because I used to be in corporate before I went into doing in the interim space, I did that from home, and I didn't have to go anywhere, and I could weave it in with stuff.
Thank you. That's beautiful on earning. One thing I loved the most was when you said that education is a form of earning, because the skills you acquire can be transferred, can also be exchanged for what we call money. So that's earning. So let's move to the next one, save. So I have earned, and this month I made, let me say too much, 100,000. Let's start small, or 1 million. Saving.
Saving. So saving is just an interim measure. Saving is not a means to an end, it's not an end in itself. So first of all, you need to pay yourself. And I say it's interesting the way children are taught. So over COVID, I was listening to she was about 7. I was listening into one of her classes and they were teaching them personal finance. And the teacher said, you need to have 3 jars: spend, save, share. And and they told them, okay, when you get your money, you have your spend jar, you have your save jar, you have your shares jar. Your jar is where you give money out to. The money you put in your shares, money you give to people, money you put your spendings, and then so when you earn your money and you want to save, you need to pay yourself first. That was the essence of that story. When you earn your money, you need to apportion it into different pockets. What is the money I'm going to use for if I go to work? For feeding, saving, and please, you pay yourself first. You don't pay yourself last. If you pay yourself last, you're not going to pay yourself. You need to remove what you are saving, because your saving is a seed to growth. If some people say 100k is not enough, if 100k is not enough, 90k is not enough, please take out the 10k on top and save. You need to save something. It could be 10%, it could be 5%. If you look at Joseph when he was advising Pharaoh, it was 20%. But you need to save, and then we'll talk about what to do with that saving. So pay yourself. And I also say, which is budgeting, you budget for you earn. Black tax is something you budget for. Yeah. You budget urgent to
not an emotional spend.
It's not you budget. We are our own safety blanket. We're our own social security. So you budget. In fact, the way I do, I have a separate account for
black tax
giving. So when I get my I work for myself, but I pay myself every month. When I take my income, my utilities bill at the last day of the month, I'm just doing a transfer, and then I transfer to my share. My share bucket is a separate account, and that's where I do all my giving from. When the money in that account is finished,
everybody will be okay.
Next month, everybody will be okay.
Every request that comes next month,
because it's only God that is El Shaddai.
True.
I am not El Shaddai.
True.
So when that money is done, it's done. So then for my earnings, I budget, and savings is one of them.
Yes. Thank you very much. We'll move to the next one, which is invest. And let's circle back to the before we move to invest, let's talk about share and spend a bit. So in spending, right? Spending is just anything. Is it just anything?
No. So we need to have a budget. And what is a budget? It's just a fancy word that means a plan. A plan for your money. My grandfather, again, through my mother, used to say, God rest his soul, interpret.
There's no money that is enough to spend.
There is not enough to spend.
There is no money that is not enough to spend.
And then my mother used to say, that money that you're complaining is not enough. As a woman, as a girl, some men are
using it to raise
families.
Yeah.
So please, that excuse that money is not enough. My mother did not even want to hear. So there's no money that is not enough. So spend. You need to. Spend. We now break it into 2 buckets: your needs and your wants. Your need is your essentials that you need to survive. But even in your needs, you need to understand that your needs can be met in different ways. So, for example, there's a need to feed. I can feed in a 5-star restaurant, and I can feed on
or cook my meal at home.
My meal at home.
Yeah.
So I have a friend, for example, that when we looked at her spend for the month, when I was working with her as a client, we realized one of her main drains was she was buying lunch out. Her lunch every day. She was spending money for lunch. So she just converted to cooking at home, and she saved
a lot of money.
A bundle from that. So you need to have a budget. The other thing you need to do is in budgeting to track how your expenses are spent. And there's so many apps. You can do paper and buy when you budget every month. Okay, so every day, what did I spend on this one, that, on that? It helps you to see patterns in your spending. And when you see patterns, you'll be surprised that what you think you are not spending a lot of money on is actually draining you. So you need to know your needs and your wants. And for we women, please stop using your children as an excuse. Okay. Children are very easy to satisfy, honestly. We're the ones that give our children airs. We're the ones that teach them how to want expensive things. Then we start complaining. Please stop using your children as an excuse. Children are very simple. They take whatever it is you give them.
Yeah,
We're the ones who teach them to have huge, expensive appetites. Children are fine. Whatever you have to give them, they will take it and they'll be very all right.
Thank you very much. So let's move to the third one, invest. As we said earlier, a lot of women do ajo a lot.
Okay.
And I believe that ajo is not bad in and of itself. But I also know that there are other ways.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have earned, I've saved. Ajo is also a form of savings,
Yes,
if you want to put it out.
Yes.
Now, investments. What is investment? This big word that we always say, invest.
Okay.
And how can I go about it?
Investing is taking your seed, your money, and growing it. People always talk about, you have money. Like we said, money is nothing. It's just a store value or a medium in the exchange. So how do you grow that savings? Remember we said 10% or 20%. How do you grow it? And there are many ways to invest. But before you start investing, you need to know a couple of things. One, your risk appetite.
Very important.
You need to know what your risk appetite. You need to know what your age is. The risk a 25-year-old person can take, if a 45-year-old person takes a disaster. Why? Because if a 25-year-old takes a risk and, for example, loses all their money, they have time,
longer time to recover.
You at 45 or 50, if you take your risk, or your
Jesus is your insurance.
Retirement and your earning years, it's just your earning years are shorter.
Active earning years.
Your active earning years are shorter. So you've got to know your risk appetite, what your age is. Risk appetite is how well do you like to play kalo or gamble with your money?
Yeah.
There are some people that can, if they put money in, they sell them crypto or anything. Bitcoin. They can sleep well.
If they lose money, they have ordinary shares.
Your mind every day you go and be checking what the share price in the market. Did it go?
Did it
went up today?
Thank God.
Crashed yesterday. So you need to know do you have a high risk appetite, low risk appetite? So that's the then we need to know what the investment vehicle, what just means is the various means. So there are things like money market fund. And even the money market fund, there are types of money market fund. There's equity, there are different types of, what is a money market fund? It just means there's somebody, so for example, Nkechi has said, I know what to do with money. I know how to invest money. If you give your money to me, I will grow it because I have the skill of growing money. Nkechi is the expert, so if I begin to misyanne, drop me, or if I use wrong term. So a fund manager pulls money from different people. And then because they have the skill, they go and invest it and grow it, and you pay them a percentage. If, for example, we can talk about fixed deposits. So, for example, 10 of us bring 100K. How much does that give us?
1 million.
1 million. And then we give it to Nkechi. Nkechi invests this money for me. Nkechi has the skill to go it for maybe 1 million to 1.5 million. And she takes maybe 5 or 10% on the extra. Now, if fixed deposits is another method of investment, it means I give an organization my money, and at the end of a time, they give me an agreed rate, agreed tenure. They give me an interest. Now, if I want to fix my 100,000, maybe I'll get 3% or 5%. But if Nkechi has collected 1 million from 10 of us, she'll be able to get 8, 10, 12%. She has. Then she also knows she may be able to get CP, she may be able to get into other assets that I as an individual cannot get into access. So the money market fund. There's equity funds where Nkechi, again, I've given her money, I've decided my risk appetite. If I'm low risk, just give me money market, don't go anywhere. High risk, go and put in stock and joy. Don't worry, I trust you. I can gamble with my money. Then Nkechi goes to look for shares, stocks, equities, bond. Bond is money market, right? Those are fixed income. She goes into these various places and she invests those money to get me interest. Then at the end of an agreed time, quarterly, monthly, whatever, dividend is distributed to all the 10 of us that bought 100K. There are some that are guaranteed income, so my money will come. But if you put equities, for example, if I give 100K,
capital is not guaranteed.
If I give 100K, it might be 95K, but 90K, maybe 200K, anything can happen. But if it's money market fund, for example, if I give 100K, my 100K will come back. It might not be 10K I get on top, or it might be, but there's a guaranteed income at the end of it. So that's it. Some people invest in other people's businesses. They could be angel investors and all, but please don't invest in anything you don't know about. Man is not there. And please, any financial advice we talk about, please investigate and do your research on your own. It's very important.
I was about to say that before you put your money anywhere, don't go with the crowd.
Yep.
Always seek the advice of a financial expert.
Yep.
Don't say, oh, everybody is doing this, and then you rush and put your money into it. That's how people lose their money with the likes of MMM. All these Ponzi schemes.
Let's go to MMM.
Let's go to MMM. Yes.
What is MMM? MMM is a Ponzi scheme. And what's that one they did in Ibadan recently?
I don't know.
There's one that happened in Ibadan
recently.
Very recently.
Can't remember. CBET.
So there's some fundamentals, like we said, since time immemorial, the fundamentals of making money, of money management has not changed. Now, someone comes to you and say, give me 100K, and in 2 months, I'll double it to 200K.
Should ask, where is the person putting the money?
Oh. Ask a few questions.
Yeah.
What is the person going to do with it? Is it ritual? Is it money ritual? Or please ask me what? You've got to understand. The truth is, no one can guarantee you that they will double your money in X amount.
Doesn't happen anywhere in the world.
Doesn't happen. Even if you want
developed
countries, those ones are even worse because economies are more stable. Even if you go things like people in the Silicon Valley and the first few years, it didn't, and not all the apps, all these people they say.
It's not all of them that make it the way we think.
They call it founders.
Not all of them are
for every 10 businesses that are started, maybe just 1 or 2 survive. And those ones like
NVIDIA
and Co.
We blow it up and then everybody thinks that's the way it is.
It's called survivorship bias. You hear about the success stories, you don't hear about the failures. So please, if anyone tells you they're going to double your money, just go in the opposite direction and run, because it's not going to happen, not possible. Ponzi schemes just means, like that 100, we gave the example of collecting 10 people's 100K. What happens is not Nkechi, whoever that Ponzi guy is, now goes to spend money. He spends the money. And now from 1 million, he has spent 500K. But he has guaranteed you that he'll pay you 200K. So he needs to go and look for the next 10 or 20 people to bring the 100K.
The more people you bring, the more
He now uses that to pay you because he has spent those. And he keeps looking for people to feed. He's digging a hole and is collecting other people's money to cover that. So please be aware of. Real estate is another form of investment. People invest in real estate.
That leads me to that question. Real estate, should everyone, regardless of your income class, go into real estate? Because I've come in contact with people who tell you, oh, I have XYZ amount of money. And sometimes you say, okay, I personally don't believe in putting all your savings into one basket, spread it. Or someone says, oh no, if I buy a land at XYZ part of Lagos, in the next 2 years, in fact, less than 2 years, I can sell it for twice that amount of money.
Want to flip it?
Yeah, so what's your take on that?
My take is that not every investment is for everybody. That's a basic principle. I've bought real estate that have been successful, and I've bought real estate
I've
that
also got in my hands, my fingers burnt.
To figure it out between Omonile, with COO, between Omonile and this person, that one is still there. So real estate is not for everyone, just like every investment is not for everyone. And there is no investment that is 100% guaranteed. So while you bought it, for example, imagine you bought land in the Lekki area and Coastal Road now went on your land, for example, and they thought it was a sure thing.
Even with COO?
Even with COO, you may get compensation, you may not get compensation. You buy land, it's flooded. You buy land and no money will come and terrorize it. There's so many things that could happen. You bought land and you didn't do your due diligence, and it's a marshy, flood-prone area. Yes, some people buy land and flip it. Yes, that is true, are lucky, and not everyone does. I think the important thing is start where you are, even on the land. A friend of mine was telling me a story of how they bought land and they stayed in Magburu. From Magburu, they went to Mowe. From there, they went to this area around Bega, and from there, they flipped to Ikeja and then Island. And they stayed from where they bought, then they expanded. They divided the land. What they land in 2 years, they built on half. The remaining half was what twice. Then they were able to go up the property ladder by starting where they are. But not everyone will benefit from every asset. And it also brings to the point having diversified asset classes.
Do not put all your funds in one asset class. Diversify.
There are things like federal government bonds, there are treasury bills. Just what we are saying is be educated. If you are interested in knowing that funds managers, there are banks that have their asset management subsidiaries, or even in the bank.
Don't just leave your money in your bank account and go to bed.
Thank you. Because inflation is ruining your money. What that means is, if you had 100K, if 100K could buy you 10 chairs, for example, we've got this sofas here. If 100K could buy you this sofa, and I think with Nigerians, are very conversant with inflation. In 6 months, you need 120K or 150. So inflation has diminished the value of your money. So yeah, remember I was saying savings is not a means to an end. Savings is just a way for you to gather money to invest, use it to do something. But before you do that, remember to have an emergency fund. An emergency fund means you have 6 months-ish, plus or minus a month or two, of living expenses in case anything happens.
Very key.
Very key.
An emergency fund.
Yeah, and that emergency fund
easily accessible.
Easily accessible. It can be
don't need to buy real estate.
It should be in cash or near cash.
Yeah.
You can put it in fixed deposit 30 days, where I mean, if you break it, the penalty
is
on
the interest and not on your capital.
The interest, and you
can still get your money out.
Okay. A lot to unpack on personal finance. Yes.
All right. So we can't talk about personal finance so we've spoken about earn, save, invest, and protect. Protect is the last one, and then repeat.
We repeat. Yes. So protect is things like insurance, insuring yourself, your goods, your life insurance, car insurance, just ensuring, like, even if you offer services, you can insure professional services. There's a sort of insurance that if you ever get sued for your work, you have insurance to do so. It's things like having a will. We women.
True. Let's talk about it. Very important. Transferring your assets and your wealth to the next generation.
1. Then 2, as difficult as they are, having conversations with your spouse on what you want to happen in either of you's absence. If one of you has to go, or if one of you is not there, where does your husband have his things? And yes, it's wisdom. Not all our men are in the same place when it comes to 1, transparency, or 2, you're asking me about my property. Do you want to kill me? And I keep saying, I can't kill you because you're making my life, giving me soft life. If you die now, who wants to stress? My friend, go and sit down. But you need to understand where his assets are, or where, if you have joint assets, let's do a segue. Please, if you have joint assets, please have joint names.
We'll
please
definitely have a
do
part
Mr. and Mrs. Don't do Mr. and Mrs. Please put your
Mr. Lagbaja,
Mrs. Tamedo before you put the surname. Anyway, there's so much to say. I keep digressing. Okay, so will is what you want to happen to your assets in your absence if you leave. Who you want to take care of your children, because for most of us, our children are. Who should have guardianship of your children if you happen not to be around? Very important. What sort of your things you have, who should have them? Who should keep them? If you have assets anyway, how do you pay children's school fees? We pay for long life for everybody, but
life happens.
Life happens. And having a will does not mean something will happen to you. Now, some people say, oh, I don't have enough to have a will. It's a lie. If you have a phone, you have something. If I die, give it to don't give it to that my coconut head brother or coconut head son. Give it to my sister. My clothes, my jewelry, my whatever. A will is just a list that says, when in the event, these are my assets and this is what should be done with it. I just remember net worth. Man, there's a lot of
okay. I think we'll wrap up.
Let's just wrap up.
We'll wrap up the first episode here. We've said so much. A lot. But I think the message we've been able to pass across today, which is very important, is education.
Yep.
Financial education for every woman is very important.
Critical.
Very, very critical. No matter how much you have, it doesn't have to be up to 1 million. It doesn't have to be, it can be 10,000 naira. Educate yourself. Keep educating yourself. Keep asking questions. And like she said, you can walk into your bank and ask them what other products and services they have apart from their current and savings account, and you'll be amazed as to the opportunities that you have to actually grow your wealth. We will be coming back again. This is just the first episode, so please watch out for the next episode. Thank you for listening to us, and do have a great week. Bye.